Can we start, Regis, with the Tommy Watson move to Brighton? I mean, what's your view on that move?
We have to accept the situation. I think the timing is not ideal, but at the same time, we know that Tommy had multiple offers from Premier League clubs before. We declined and tried to renew his contract. It wasn't possible at the end. So it's his decision, and we have to move on. And I hope it's positive output for the club, financially at least, and for the future of the club. We'll see. Yeah.
It arose in January, of course, that Brighton were trying to sign Tommy. Have you sort of monitored him as an individual since then as to how that may have affected him? Because clearly, you're looking at someone in the first team picture. You want to know, as you said last week, about Job and Rig being fully focused. Otherwise, it can affect the way that you play. I know Tommy has been injured, so that's been a factor as well.
Yeah, he had a long injury. I think every player is different, and the environment at Sunderland, I think, is very positive for the development of players who can get minutes. The club trusts young players. We build an environment to give them a huge support. But at the same time, everyone is different, and if you expect something different, you we still have one year to the end of his contract. Everyone has to make a decision, and his decision is not ours. But at the end, we have to accept that.
There are some who feel he shouldn't play again until the end of the season at Brighton because of moving and leaving. I mean, what's your view on Tommy being involved with the club until the end of the season?
I think he will be involved because he's professional, and the situation is not unusual in football, and you have to deal with it. So the timing is a little bit weird, I accept that, and it's clear, but at the same time, we want to push on until the end of the season. Yeah.
Other personnel, you mentioned last weekend, you're expecting Lefay and Gelder to be fit this weekend. Is that still the case?
Yeah, it should be the case. Yeah.
Any other issues?
No issues. Good news.
Good. On one other issue is penalties.
What subject?
Yeah, prickly one. You did say after the game last week, yeah, you'd have to look at it because you can't have 5 penalties this season and miss 4 of them, and then potentially the playoffs there could be penalty shootouts.
Yeah, maybe. It might be a blessing in disguise. So I think in that circumstances, we are aware that this part of the game is very important, and could be an opportunity for us. I want to see the positive outcome of this situation, which is really unusual again. It affected the outcome of different games. For example, at Burnley, I think it was clear. And but we are still in a good place with these playoffs at the end of the season. It's not done, but the dynamic is really positive, and we know that we have to improve this part of our game. So we started last week, and we spoke a lot with the players how we can manage this situation properly, and it will be a good topic during the training sessions.
Has there been a discussion about who's going to take them? Because Wilson said that he was more than happy to still take penalties. Luke, from what we know of him, is actually a good penalty taker. So that was a bit of a surprise at the weekend. Romain obviously threw his hat in the ring at the weekend as well.
Yes, emotional. It was emotional, and we need emotions. So I think it's positive, sometimes negative, but we have to deal with the situation, so it's not a problem. And at least they are involved and they want to score. And we still have an opponent. The goalkeeper can make saves, and for example, Trafford did well, and it was the case against Millwall as well. So we'll make a decision, and it will be clear for everyone. Yeah.
Have you spoken to Romain? I mean, I know you're right. You want passion, you want emotion.
Yeah.
But I think it did affect him on the pitch. That argument with Dan, and then his reaction to it.
Yeah, a little bit, but we have young players. They are really well connected. They want to score. They want to be an important part of the team. So the negative side is sometimes you are too emotional, and you have to manage this emotion a bit later. So we spoke a lot. So it's solved, and move on.
And I think perhaps we have to give some credit to the two goalkeepers as well, because
I agree.
Trafford is 6'7", so he's not the smallest, and Jensen's 6'6". I don't think Isildur's penalties were particularly bad penalties, so perhaps some credit to the goalkeepers.
Yeah, sure. We shot into the target, so so at least the goalkeeper has to make a save. After every missed penalty, we can analyze the situation, but on the pitch it's more difficult because it's a tense situation, and it's not an easy one. So I repeat, we want to learn from these experiences, and I hope it will be a positive outcome at the end of the season.
And talking of hitting the target, sort of briefly mentioned it after Millwall. You do create a lot of chances, but you're not getting probably the reward that your build-up play is demanding. I mean, Joe had 3 strikes blocked. Patrick had 1 tip around the post. Is it an area of concern for you? You've talked about being more clinical this season.
Yeah, I think it's important. The first idea is to create chances, and against Millwall we created more chances than the games before, when I think we struggled a little bit more. So it was positive, this reaction against Millwall, especially against a strong team out of possession. So I think the dynamic was positive. After that, we have to be clinical, and especially at the end of the season, because we know that the difference can be made at this point. 1 chance, 1 goal, and if we can create more chances and be more clinical, we'll be more comfortable during the games.
West Brom then at the weekend, and I think it's around surrounding the game is the emotion of Tony Mowbray obviously being back in management at West Brom now. And I think when you arrived, or just before you arrived, you spoke to Tony, and he I think gave you advice about Sunderland. I mean, what do you remember of that conversation? Is what he said to you? Is it sort of rung true about your time here?
It was a friendly conversation without many advices. So I was happy to meet him, and he's a friendly guy, very easy to speak with. So it was just a friendly conversation.
And West Brom, look, one of your rivals, potentially you could be playing them again in the playoffs.
Yeah, they are a good team, and good in possession, very well organized, with good players. I think we dominated the first leg without scoring, and this game will be different. It will be an away game. Maybe, yes, could be a fixture in playoffs. So still important to play this game with 100% of our best football, and we'll see the outcome.
One player you may well, I'm even sure you're familiar with. I don't know whether he's involved at the weekend because he's had a calf injury, but Josh Madger, is someone you'd seen playing in France?
Yeah, he played the first game. He's still injured. We'll see. Yeah.
Regis, in terms of, you've got 6 games left, what is your target? I mean, can you overhaul Burnley, for instance?
Everything is possible if we win games. So the main condition is to win, and win, and win, and win again. So for us, we are only focused on that topic, to build strong momentum through April, and I think the games against Millwall was very important for that purpose. We were probably a little bit tired before the international break, and the reaction was really positive. And now we'll have another opponent, another scenario, another tough challenge. So we want to learn from every experiences, and I hope we'll be better again during this game.
As Nick was alluding to, obviously penalties could be key at the end of the season, most likely there will be in terms of the playoffs. Do you know if there's a penalty at the Hawthorns on Saturday, who will take your penalty kick and who will that be?
It's a secret now. Yeah, we'll make a clear decision, and for the players it will be clear. So we had a conversation today with the leadership group, and it was a topic of the agenda, and yeah, it will be clear.
What are you expecting from a Tony Mowbray side down at the Hawthorns then on Saturday?
Many players here know very well his style of play, so he's really in possession oriented, and he gives freedom to his players. So it's always difficult to identify patterns, and it's more about creativity, and it's tough to manage this kind of play, style of play. So, like I say, as usual, we'll have to be strong out of position with our defensive shape, because if we let them take a huge confidence, it's always difficult to play against this team. So it's a part of our game. We have to be strong again, and after that, with the ball, if we can manage the ball properly, we can play with our strengths as well.
Nice, Regis.
Regis, at this stage of the season, when momentum is so important, what is actually more important to you, performances or results?
Both, because it's really well connected. I think if you play well but you don't win, something is missing, and the opposite can be like a liar, because you can win if the foundations are not strong. It will be tough when at the end of the season. So I think both are important right now.
Mentioned sort of before by Nick, obviously you played West Brom this weekend, you played Coventry recently. Is it important from your point of view that you're playing the teams that you could face in another couple of weeks' time in the playoffs now, and you're gaining that vital information?
Yes, I think so, because we can learn from negative or positive experiences, and it will be a reminder for the end of the season. So I think it's important at that stage to have these opportunities, and for the playoffs, it's not done, I repeat. It could be usual information, yeah, sure.
And have there actually been any considerations towards this summer yet, or is that completely back of your mind? As in like some of the transfer window plans, etc.?
Yes, we still have two timelines with the club. Short timeline, the end of the season, and we are working behind the scenes for the next season. So both are important, but at the same time, when we are close to the game, my focus is 100% on the games.
And just finally, I presume that this is the stage of the season where you need your supporters more than ever, because to try and get you over that line.
Yeah, they are important. We have a strong fan base, and this is a strength of the club. So we have to be connected, because every detail will be very important until the end.